Hey there, this is Franny with OC Designs Online. What I'm going to show you today is how to use our online version of our editor. Most people, if they're using Mac computers, generally tend to want to use this version of our template editor instead of using, the desktop version. So basically what you want to do anytime that you're going to revise a listing on your eBay account, the first thing that you have to do is be logged in to your selling manager so that you have all of your active listings up. The easiest way to get there is by going to ebay.com, my eBay, select selling, and we're already there, so it's just going to load pretty quickly. And then the next thing that you would want to do is make sure that you have your columns sorted as the most time left, which would be with the arrow down. In our case, we're already there, so there's not much that we have to do. The first thing that we always do before anything else is we actually make a copy of the item number. This way we have a record of exactly which items we've revised so that there's no confusion on what has been done. So you can pick up the item number directly from this column and paste it into, Excel or wherever you want to keep your record. We generally use Excel. So you would first want to copy that item number. Then you just simply click on the title of the listing that you want to revise. And at the same time, generally, we will also have our template editor up. So the template editor is here on this tab. And it's very simple. There's only a few fields that you have to fill out because generally everything else will be filled out for you. What you want to do is get your listing title, which is right here. If I just select it a couple times, I can just copy it. Whoops. And then delete what's there and paste in my new title. Go to your images, and the easiest way to get your images up would just be to click the main photo, which allows for the gallery to come up. And what you have to do is click each thumbnail, and you have to right click and hit copy image URL. That tells the editor where the image is hosted. And just delete what's there, paste in your new URL. And you do that for every image that's in your gallery. If you have an image, if you have more than one image, then you always want to check this includes box so that way there's nothing, otherwise it will not show the image. So you want to always just make sure that box is checked if you've got more than one. And there's the fourth one. The rest of these are just dummy images in case if you have more pictures in your gallery, which this particular customer doesn't, so we would just leave them empty. You would not check mark them. This particular listing also has a listing specifications table. A listing specs table is the little box that is typically displayed within the listing that has extra information. The specs table that we build in is not the same specs table that is the default by eBay. This is specifically for the specs table that's within your design. So you have to plug in what you want to feature there. What you do is you would come down here. Now this particular customer, we're basically taking what they've already provided and we're trying to pull everything in the way that they have it. So metal they have as 18 karat yellow gold. So you copy that over. And if you want it to, it may be a little bit easier if you actually have these two windows side by side. That way you're not going from window to window. Might make the process just a little bit speedier. So, whoops. So I'm actually just gonna do that just to make my life a little bit easier so that I can get this done for you a little bit faster. So I do that just by making this a little bit wider. Gemstones, quartz. You just want to be careful when you're doing this, just to make sure that you're not, copying the wrong thing. Measurements is what's right here. You want to make sure that only that is copied. If you want to create a break in anything, then what you would do is just put a break HTML in there, which is just that simple code. This basically just tells the line to go on to the next line. The only reason I'm doing that is because this customer actually had it on 2 lines, otherwise it'll bulk it up like a paragraph. Okay, mark and tested is this here. Now this is this way because this is a jewelry store. Generally, a lot of people don't actually have an item specifications table in their listing. So it's just, this is a jewelry store, and jewelry stores tend to have a little bit more information. Okay. Oops. Okay, color is NA. And weight is 14.3. Now this particular project, this listing, once you run out of specs and there's none left and you don't have to indicate anything else, you just simply uncheck these boxes. You don't want to have them included because then they're just going to have dummy text, and that is definitely not what you want to have. Now what you want to do is pull over the description. So the description is everything that you see from this point down. We don't usually carry over the store policies or the guarantee because that's already built into the design. So all that we want is the actual description by itself. And we want to make sure that it pulls over just the basic coding from the description. So generally what we will do, so that we don't pull over junk coding, is we will just simply put the text directly into Dreamweaver so that we can pull out clean HTML and put it in so that it's formatted, but it's not sloppy. And we just copy the code directly into our editor because it does take HTML. Now I just want to warn you that this editor, the online version, does not allow for anything to be saved. So if you use the desktop version, you can save the template. If you don't use the desktop version, you cannot save the template. Okay, so what I've done, I've already put everything in, and we've got everything there. So what you do is click on Make Code, and you simply select all, and you copy. If you just saw there, I just clicked on Preview, which allows you to preview the listing. Now, you can ignore these categories because these are dynamic. So this is just for dummy purposes. You would just ignore that. But as you can see, it pulled in the images. The images look fine. And it pulled in my description just fine, what I placed into the specs table. It formatted the description just fine, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. So everything looks good on this listing. So I already know that it's ready to go. So all that you do now is you just select all, you copy the code, you go back to your eBay listing for that particular listing that you're working on, and you simply go to revise your item. Now remember, I did copy all of the code, so you just have to remember to do that. You always have to go into the HTML tab, select all, delete what's there, and you're going to paste in the code that we just copied. And that is all that you do make sure that no point in time do you click on standard. If you click on this tab that says standard, it will strip every single element of the JavaScript of the design out, which will mean that you'll have to redo the design. If you find that maybe you typed something wrong, or you forgot something, or you misspelled something, the easiest thing to do, that I always do, make sure you always click continue. You want to submit your revisions until it goes through 100%. But what I always do, just to make sure that there's no issues, is I will always keep the copy of the editor up in case if I run into any problems. This way I don't have to go back and redo that entire listing. I can just go back here and make any changes that are necessary to the listing. So I was getting an error, so I just have to evaluate exactly what that problem is. Generally, you will not run into any errors like I just got unless you're including information that is against eBay policy, which is possible that I copied something from the existing template or the existing listing for this client that is not allowed by eBay. So I just have to examine it and figure it out. But what I've done is everything's complete, and that is exactly how you list an item using our online version of the editor. Any questions, you can send me an email. My email is info@ocdesignsonline.com.